The invasion is not just in defiance of international law, but runs contrary to what the American people want. The Economist conducted a poll late last year finding that just 15% of Americans see the situation with Venezuela to be a national emergency. Most Americans don't approve of this invasion because there is no situation with Venezuela. The House on December 17th voted against a resolution that would have barred Trump from launching either an airstrike or any military incursion inside Venezuela. That bill was introduced by New York House Democrat Gregory Meeks and was defeated by a very narrow margin of just 216 to 210, 6 votes. Gregory Meeks now accusing Secretary of State Marco Rubio of lying to Congress. Meeks told the Washington Post yesterday, quote, Rubio said there was not any intention to invade Venezuela. He absolutely lied to Congress, unquote. Senator Andy Kim also making the same charge against Secretary of State Marco Rubio, as well as Defense Chief Pete Hegseth, seen here with some of his neo-Nazi tattoos. Hegseth also told Congress in December there were no plans to invade Venezuela. Trump peacocked on Saturday, much like he did back in June when he bombed Iran. Trump said the next target will probably be Cuba. He said, quote, I think Cuba is going to be something we end up talking about because Cuba is a failing nation right now. Invading Cuba. You know, Trump might want to check with Dr. Bobby Kennedy Jr. about how invading Cuba worked out for his Uncle Jack. You're looking at a 100% authentic artificial intelligence photograph of Bobby Kennedy Jr. performing a tummy tuck. Tummy tuck, I believe, is what the White House calls an abortion. Dr. Bobby Kennedy Jr. Yes, he should make all your health care decisions. Rodriguez, vice president of Venezuela, then accused Trump of invading her country for the sole purpose of seizing Venezuela's oil reserves, which I've been telling you since September. Venezuela has the largest known oil reserves in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia's. Maduro's predecessor, Hugo Chavez, nationalized Venezuela's oil industry in 2007. How dare he think that their oil belongs to them? ConocoPhillips says they are owed several $billions because of the nationalization of the oil, and Exxon is owed close to $1 billion as well. Trump refused to say whether American troops will occupy Venezuela, but he made it clear that our oil companies would. He said our American oil companies will go in, spend billions to fix the infrastructure, and it's going to start making money again. In Venezuela, right now, citizens pay, you ready for this? 2 cents a gallon for their first 32 gallons of gas each month. After their first 32 gallons each month, the price of a gallon of gas in Venezuela skyrockets to 13 cents a gallon. Damn socialists. So what do you think a gallon of gas is going to run next week in Venezuela, now that the oil companies are back in charge? Supposedly, we don't know how this plays out. New York House Democrat Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez responded to news of Saturday's invasion of Venezuela by saying it's about oil. She said that Trump wants regime change to install an oil-friendly leader, and his accusations that Maduro is a drug dealer are just a pretense. She said Maduro's drug trafficking trial in New York City is just to create the illusion that this invasion isn't about oil. You'll notice JD Vance was down at Mar-a-Lago for the New Year's bash, but he wasn't out front making the big announcement about the big bash on Venezuela. No photos of JD Vance in the Situation Room. So yeah, it was about politics. Where's JD Vance? No photos of him making the announcement. No photos of JD Vance in the Situation Room looking presidential. What happened? JD just got endorsed by Erica Kirk and Turning Point for 2028. She announced they are spending millions on Iowa for him. So no JD Vance in the Situation Room, no JD up front making the big announcement. Here's Trump announcing the bombing campaign over Iran back in June. You see, there's Hegseth, Rubio, and prominently displayed Vice President JD Vance. He's in on it. But then Erica Kirk endorsed JD for president. No JD in the Situation Room or making the big announcement about Venezuela. Not a threat. See, that's when he's not a threat to Trump. That's when he is a threat to Trump. Donald Trump's running for a third term. The Constitution says he can't. Constitution also said he couldn't invade Venezuela without permission from Congress. He's running for a third term. Okay, this is what it costs. An F-35 fighter jet, $42,000 per flight hour. A B-52 bomber, $88,000 per flight hour. A B-1 bomber, $171,000 per flight hour. That's what it's costing you. I saw some of that a little cheaper at Costco. It's pretty expensive. Our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, he says it's worth spending the money overthrowing a narco-terrorist state. It's not about oil. It's about stopping the flow of drugs. And Rubio points out that Nicolas Maduro, the former president of Venezuela, although the vice president of Venezuela says Maduro is still president, he was indicted by the Trump Justice Department on March 26, 2020, on charges including narco-terrorism, conspiracy, cocaine importation, conspiracy, and weapons-related offenses. So there was already a 5-year-old indictment and a bounty on Maduro's head, which Trump said he should collect. I'm sure he will. Chuck Schumer says the idea that Trump plans to now run Venezuela should strike fear in the hearts of all Americans. But House Speaker Mike Johnson says of the attack, it was a decisive and justified operation that will protect American lives. You would think maybe the speaker would be a little concerned about war powers being taken away from his House of Representatives. Pete Buttigieg said an unpopular president decides to launch a war for regime change abroad. Ruben Gallego, senator from Arizona, freshman, served in Iraq, says this is the second unjustified war in my lifetime, Democrat. And my mayor, Zohran Mamdani, said unilaterally attacking a sovereign nation is an act of war. Mitch McConnell said the president had broad constitutional authority for the limited use of military force. And yeah, when it comes to war, the Republicans are getting in line. The Congressional Black Caucus came out against Trump's invasion, and the world, Latin America. Lula said Trump crossed an unacceptable line. President of Colombia, Petro, calls for immediate UN emergency session. Mexico, Scheinbaum, the president, condemned the intervention. And I don't know how to pronounce Argentina's president's name. Milei, he says, I think we're giving him $20 billion to bail out his economy. He called it freedom. This is a picture from the Associated Press. These are Venezuelans who are refugees living in Argentina. They're celebrating the defeat of Maduro. And in South Florida, there were pictures that the Miami Herald published of Venezuelans in South Florida, Maduro's capture. How's it pronounced? Safeway, he's gone. In Doral, Florida, Venezuelans were shouting, he's gone, he's gone. In Washington, D.C., no blood for oil. Guterres, the head of the UN, said Trump has created a dangerous precedent. I don't think it's a precedent. He said, I'm deeply alarmed by U.S. military action, and we'll wrap it up. Is there anything? Yeah, okay.